So I would like to introduce Kay, who's the sales manager at Wide Eyed Tours, and focusing on Southeast Asia. But Wide Eyed Tours are one of our incredible ground operators who we work really closely with, and is kind of an extension of us, actually, not an actual, not a separate tour operator as such, but yeah, like an extension of a travel counsellor in country, which is great. So over to you, Kay, to talk to us about Thailand.
Thank you very much, and welcome everybody. I hope you all had a lovely day in the sunshine, and I'd just like to say Sawadee Ka, which is hello and in Thai. Thailand is an amazing destination, and I really hope I'm going to take you on a journey today and inspire you that there is so much more to Thailand than just beach destinations, and showcase what you can do in the destination. There's so much to do. It doesn't matter what you're looking for. There is a range of activities that you can do in Thailand. It has rich and diverse culture, so you really can see so many different things, unique history and traditions. You know, you've got the amazing dancing, you've got fantastic, you can go and see local villages up in the north, and there really is some fantastic things. There is some great local ceremonies and festivals that you can take part in. If you travel during April time, there's a really great Songkran festival, which is the world's biggest water fight that you can go to. So if you have children, or you just enjoy a bit of fun, it's a fantastic time to travel, because you all just walk around the streets with your big water pistol and just shoot water at everybody. It really is lots of fun. There is the majestic religious monuments, diverse landscapes. One minute you can be on the beach, you can be in a hustle and bustling city, next minute you can be in the fantastic mountains and out in the suburbs. The people are just second to none, and they are so hospitable. Everywhere you go, they are just smiling. The Thais really are there, you know, they want tourists to come. Phuket, for instance, their business is 80% is tourism. So at the moment, they're really missing seeing all the tourists and having people come and visit their amazing destination. The hotels, I mean, the prices of the hotels, it's higher than it used to be, but they are so good value. You can get a 5-star hotel for £100. I mean, you can't even get a 3-star hotel for that in London. So, you know, it really shows the fantastic value that you can get. And as I say, the superb service. And then, of course, one of my favorite subjects, you get the amazing food. There is such diverse types of food in Thailand. There's a lot of Western orientated food, so if you're not into spicy food, or you don't like noodles or rice, it's not a problem at all. There really is lots of things on offer. So in Thailand, there really is something for everyone. The cost of a holiday is really dependent on what you wanted, but as a family of 3, for instance, which is my family, we spent around £30 a day on food and drink. So it shows that you can get a really good value holiday. You can hire private boats, you can have seating coach where you go with other people, and you can get some great activities as well for really good prices. So it really is an affordable destination once you are on spot. Now, just to give you an idea, most people spend between 10 and 14 days in Thailand. Most will fly into the city of Bangkok, because you can fly direct, obviously, into Bangkok, or you can fly through the Emirates. There is also, you can fly to Chiang Mai, or you can fly into Phuket and Krabi sometimes through the Middle East. But as I say, most people will start in Bangkok. This is just a rough itinerary, just giving you an idea if you're more of a touring person. But you can do a 2-centre, you can do a 1-centre, 5-centre. It really depends how much traveling you want to do in Thailand. There is so much to offer. To me, this is a destination that you don't just visit once. I've probably been 10 times in my life, and there is still so much more that I need to see and do over there. And it's different every time that I go. So this sample itinerary, you can explore the sights of Bangkok. You can see the amazing bridge over the River Kwai. You can go up into the north in Chiang Mai and see the monks chanting at Doi Sutha, which I'll talk about later. And you can even go up to Chiang Rai and see the Golden Triangle, and that's where you can see Laos, Burma and Thailand all in one place. So there really is a lot to choose from. And then there is the amazing choice of beach extensions, which I'll cover towards the end of this presentation. There is just so much choice. There is something for everyone. Obviously, something that we have to bear in mind is the weather. The weather, it is warm. At the moment, the temperature in Bangkok is around 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. It's quite muggy, and so you have to be fairly used to the humidity. Most people will travel during our winter months, but April and Easter can be a fantastic time to go as well. In the southeast, which is your Koh Samui more area, you can travel during the school summer holidays, and then the Phuket, which is the southwest area, most people will travel in our winter, all the way up to April, May. Now their rainy season, or green season as I like to call it, is very much normally anywhere between July and September, October. Normally, the further you go along into the year, so September and October is when it gets really more wet, but at the beginning, say July and August, you're going to get maybe 1 to 2 hours of rain a day. You will find that it is more and more humid. So if you're not the kind of person that likes the strong humidity, then it's better to go earlier in the year. But it never gets cold. I don't think Bangkok ever gets below about 25 degrees, so you're never going to be cold. Now, Bangkok is the gateway to the country. It is the hustling, bustling city. Traffic is, I have to say, horrendous, because there is just so many cars on the road over there. It can take you 2 hours to travel 10 miles down the road. So it is just crazy. This is just to showcase that location is key when you're traveling to these destinations. So that's why, you know, you'd book through Melissa and ourselves, is because we can then identify a property that will have a fantastic location and a great access to the SkyTrain. Bangkok has an amazing public transport system in a SkyTrain that goes above all the streets, and you can get from A to B super quick and get around. On the excursions that we offer, we generally will offer them on public transport, just because it gives you such a greater feeling for the city, but also it will get you about much quicker. You can go down the river, there's tuk-tuks, there is, as I say, the SkyTrain, there's a metro, there's lots of fun and different ways to see the city without sitting in a car for 2 hours and not actually moving very far. Bangkok has so many iconic sites, which I'm sure you've all heard of, such as the Grand Palace. Now, generally, we won't take people to this during the peak of the day because there are so many tourists. We want you to have a really different kind of experience. So we will take people to Wat Pho and we will see the Grand Palace by night. This allows you to see it in a truly different way, and also to be able to see it without so many tourists. This is more when the locals will go, so you really get a feel for Thailand and what the locals are doing. Floating markets as well have become very much a tourist attraction. So we will take you to the Thonburi Canals, which is just outside of Bangkok. This has lots of small communities and artisan houses and allows you to still see the real floating markets. I mean, the floating markets are where they're going to be selling all their produce, but you want to go to one where the real Thai people go and where they're actually buying, rather than one that's just been set up for the tourists to see, and you're charged twice as much money as you should be. The markets are just fantastic in Bangkok. There's so many different ones that you can see. And if you're in Bangkok over the weekend, then Chatuchak Market is a must see. You can spend all day there just watching the world go by and really experiencing the city. It is fantastic. As I say, food is really iconic with Thailand, and there is a fantastic Bangkok food tour by Tuk Tuk. Now, this will take, if you're a little bit more nervous about the street food, which is a great place to try all the different delicacies, it is a fantastic option because the tuk-tuk will take you to all the places. So they will have been vetted, that there's not the concerns that it might be dirty or anything like that. You know that you're going to the safe places. And it's a great way to try some of the local food and see some of the local places that a lot of the tourists won't be going to. It really is loved by everyone, and it is a highly recommended. You'll also get taken to the local flower market where you'll get to get a lotus flower, which you can launch out into the river and make a wish in the evening. It's a really different kind of activity that you can do. couple of the hotels that we would recommend are River Surya and the Furama. As I said, it's all about location in Bangkok. You can be miles out of Bangkok and having to spend an hour getting in to see the sites. We want to make sure that location is really important. There's some fantastic properties just by the river where you can watch all the James Bond boats flying by. You can see the activities on the river from your balcony and really watch the world go by. Most of the hotels in Bangkok will have pools. They all have fantastic restaurants and facilities. And as I say, they're all located really close to the SkyTrain so that you can get out and about at your own pace. The thing about Bangkok is once you have the confidence to know where your hotel is and located, it's super easy to get around, and you can combine having some activities with exploring at your own pace. And this is a great balance. The great thing about all the tours that we offer with travel counsellors is that you can totally bespoke the itinerary. So you are making the itinerary for you. It's not just us picking something off the wall and going, oh, well, this will fit you, you and you. This is designed especially for you. And it's super important that we look at what you enjoy, whether your history, food, you know, culture, what it is that you want to see and take out of your experiences in Thailand. Now, just outside of Thailand is Kanshiburi. Now, this can be done as a day trip, but it does take 2 hours plus each way in the car. So we recommend people to go and stay in the area. There are so many things that you can see and do. There's obviously the Death Railway, which goes through into Burma and has a lot of history during the World War II, and it includes the bridge over the River Kwai and the museum. So if you're into history, this is a fantastic site. But there's also a great elephant nature park. All the elephant nature parks that we offer are ethical, and you will have limited contact with the elephants in terms of riding and bathing and touching. We want to make sure that the elephants are in as a natural environment as possible. So it really is more about educational and learning about the elephants and helping their rehabilitation than having that touchy-feely kind of session. There's some great hotels down there as well, such as the Floating House Hotel that you can see in the bottom corner. This is great for couples because you can relax, you can hire a canoe, you can float down the river, see some of the wildlife, or you can just sit on your balcony with a beer and a good book. It really depends what you're looking for. We don't recommend it for younger families purely because there's no interconnecting rooms, but it is a great property if you're looking for something a little bit different. If you're not wanting something on the river, there is properties within land as well that you can do all the activities in the area and gives you great access to the Kanshiburi area. Ayutthaya is another area just outside of Bangkok. It's about a 90-minute drive, so an hour and a half, so you can do it in a day trip, and you'll see the iconic old history of the area. This is the old capital of Thailand, so there's lots of old temples, Buddhist statues. I always say that this picture with the banyan trees around the Buddhist looks very much like Cambodia. It's very similar, so it'll give you a different experience to the hustle and bustle of Bangkok. And if you're into the history, as I say, it's a fantastic place for the old temples and the culture. Hua Hin is a beach destination that is often overlooked by the UK tourists. It's 3 hours south of Bangkok, so if you're not a city person and you want to escape, this can be a great place to go straight down to when you get off the plane. You can have a private transfer straight down to the beach, and there's no having to get on another flight. This is the weekend retreat of the Thai royal family, so a lot of Thai people come down to Hua Hin, but it's got some fantastic resorts for international tourists as well. There is some amazing, if you're into golf, there's some fantastic golf courses. Every property is located on the beach. All the properties are fantastic 4 to 5 star. Also, if you're into trains, you can actually get a train from the centre of Bangkok to Hua Hin, and it takes about 4 hours. So if you're looking to mix up the kind of transportation that you're using, then this can be a fantastic option. Just outside of Hua Hin itself, about 45 minutes, is a place called Isle of Phants Lodge. Now, this is a little bit different because this is rehabilitated elephants, but it is the only place in Asia you can stay and see an elephant roaming. It's very much similar to, you know, staying in an African safari lodge, except for these, as I say, are rescued elephants. The elephants are part of the WFF Thailand project, and you can visit the rescue centre during the day and learn about the animals, as well as gibbons, small creatures, lots of different animals that you can see. But this picture here that you see is from a balcony in the pool. So you will look out your room and you will see the elephants, and you will really be able to immerse yourself in the area. So this is something a little bit different that you can do. Now, as I mentioned, Thai train can be part of your journey. We don't recommend many of the Thai train journeys purely because if you go down to the beaches in the south, they can be very slow, very delayed, and it can have a huge impact on your itinerary. However, if you're looking to go north up into the mountains of Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai, then there is a fantastic train that goes from Bangkok up to Chiang Mai. You can do this via day or via night, depending on how much you love trains and what scenery you want to see. Obviously, first and second class is the way to go because then you'll get your own bed. And as you can see, it's more of the couchette kind of French system. You can have a cabin for 2 or a cabin for 4. It's entirely dependent on how many are in your party. But it can be a great way to see some of the off the beaten tracks of Thailand. And as I say, if you're looking for something a little bit different in the way to travel, then this can be a great option. Now, moving up into the north, Chiang Mai is a cultural centre of Thailand. It really has the amazing temples, art galleries, and some fantastic street markets. It's about 1 hour and 20 on the flight, but as I say, on the rail, it takes about 13 hours. So when you're in Chiang Mai, you will see these amazing mountainous areas. You will see the scenery change drastically, particularly if you're coming in from the city of Bangkok. Doi Su Temple and Doi Inathon is the highest peak in Thailand, and it has a temple on top of the Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai is actually home to over 450 temples, so it really has lots of temples to see. But Doi Inathon and Doi Soithep, is a great place to see at sunset or sunrise. You can go up in a vehicle, so you don't have to climb all the steps if you're not that fit. And there's a little lift that you can get up to the top, so you don't need to worry about that. But it's a fantastic place. You just wander around, and if you go at sunset or sunrise, you'll see the colours of the building change because everything is in gold leaf. So when the sun is hitting gold leaf, you see about 20 different colours on the buildings, and as the night comes in, it changes again and again. You'll also see a lot of ceremonies going along, people making blessings. It really is a great experience to visit the temples because the people in Thailand are still active Buddhists, and they're very much worshipping in this area. So you really get to immerse yourself in the religion, but also in the culture of the destination. Some of the other fantastic things that you can do in Chiang Mai, though, you can do a city tour by cyclo. As you can see, you will get driven around by one of the cyclo drivers, and you can see the fantastic sights of the city. If you're more active, there's loads of trekking, hiking, cycling that you can do in the area. There's a sticky waterfall, which you can actually climb up and down. And there's overnight trips to local villages if you are interested. Now, obviously, if you're doing an overnight trip, the accommodation becomes what I like to call quite rustic. In some situations, you actually stay in the house with the local villagers, and it is just a mattress on the floor. But if it's for one night and you're looking to immerse yourself, it can be a great opportunity to really see a local village. There's also some fantastic local cooking schools up in Chiang Mai, where you will go to the markets, you will source the produce, you will take it back, you will learn how to cook the food, and then you will all eat together in what they call family style in Southeast Asia. So that's where all the dishes are put together and you all just pile in. It's a great way to eat because you get to try a little bit of everything. So it's a fantastic place for cooking schools. Cooking schools are also available in other parts of Thailand, but in Chiang Mai, they have a particular noodle dish, which is one of their delicacies, and they like to teach people how to use. If you're particularly into elephants, and elephants do feature quite highly in Thailand, I'll be honest, you can stay at the Elephant Nature Park up in Chiang Mai. You can do this as a day trip as well. So if you don't want to fully immerse yourself in the elephant living, you can just go for a day or half a day. If you're staying, obviously the accommodation is a little bit more basic is the nice word. You would have a mosquito net, you would have some basic air conditioning, but it can very much be more rustic style. You get to observe them bathing, feed them, watch them, walk with them, and volunteer. You can also, there's volunteer projects where you can take them up into the mountains. So if you're particularly interested in elephants and you want to see them more in their local habitat, then you can volunteer for some of the projects. But it really is a place that you can really learn about the elephants, learn about how the project is committed to the future and what can be done. This is just a sample of some of the hotels. In Chiang Mai, you can stay by the river or you can stay by the city. There's a fantastic night market that goes all the way through the city. So you really can go and stay and just pop out to the night market, and there's some fantastic places to eat as well. As I say, the hotels are of such good standard in Thailand, and there's so many lovely boutique style properties that you don't have to go for the international chains. Somewhere a little bit different and off the beaten track is a place called Kumlana. Now this is about halfway between Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai, and we suggest people stay for around 2 to 3 days. If you're looking for something really different and off the beaten track, then this can be a fantastic place to stay. It really is in the middle of nowhere. It's in amongst all the rice fields and the mountains, and there's lots of activities that you can do. So you can go cycling out into the local villages, you can do some cooking, you can alms give with the local Buddhist monks. There's a lot of different things that you can do. There's a spa on site, and there's lots of interactive options. So if you're looking for somewhere, as I say, a little bit different, and you really want to see real Thailand, you know, somewhere that not many tourists actually go to, and it's more about the local villages, then this can be a fantastic place to stay. And if you're just interested in having a cup of tea and resting for a couple of days, again, there's nothing better than getting off the beaten track and really relaxing and just listening to the bird song. Chiang Rai is further north, so you're heading right to the top of Thailand now. And this is famous for the Golden Triangle. As I said, you can stand in Thailand and you can see Laos on one side and Myanmar on the other side. You used to be able to go into a day trip into Myanmar, but obviously with the current situation, that's not something that's recommended, which is a real shame for those who love getting stamps in their passports, because you would go across the bridge, pop into Myanmar for half a day, get a stamp as you come back, and head into Thailand. But there's still lots of fantastic things that you can do. So you can go up into the mountains, excuse me, as you can see, there's lots of ethnic minorities in the area, but some of them are just for the tourists. So we prefer to take people out to the ethnic minorities in Chiang Mai. There is no long neck people up in Chiang Rai anymore. They are purely told to dress like that for the tourists. And so they're not found. Those people are mainly over in the Burmese border. There is some great boat trips though. You can go down the river to Laos. So if you're looking for a little bit more of an adventure, you can extend from Chiang Rai down into Laos and do a cruise along the Mekong Delta for 2 days. You can also do just a little trip over to the Laos border if you want to dip your foot into Laos. Or you can go to the White Temple, which you can see here. There's lots of little activities that you can do in Chiang Rai. Normally people don't stay much more than around 2 days, but it is a really interesting place and very different again to Chiang Mai. Now, you can't go to Thailand without thinking of beaches, really. There are so many different ones to choose from, and so many different places. You've got the Phang Nga Bay here that you can see with the amazing karst mountains. This is in the area of Phuket. Now, Phuket is a bit deceptive. Most people think, oh, Phuket, Patong. Phuket is actually an island, and it takes from the top of the island to the bottom around 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So when you're talking about Phuket, there are lots of different beach areas to choose from and lots of different areas that you can visit. And it's something always to bear in mind, because if you're staying in Kata Beach or Karon Beach, which is down the bottom here, let me get a little, it will take you at least an hour to get up to the airport, but also the waterfalls. And also if you're going out to any of the islands on a trip, you would normally go from the north here. So again, it's going to take you 45 minutes to an hour to get before you're getting onto your boat trip. So it's just always good to consider that. Phuket is more than just stunning beach areas, though. There is lots of boat trips and snorkeling in the islands, but there's some fantastic golf resorts, restaurants and night markets. And the Old Town is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site for food. So there really is lots of different things that you can do. So again, there's an elephant sanctuary. There's elephant sanctuaries everywhere in Thailand, but it's finding the right ones. This elephant sanctuary is the sister of the one up in Chiang Mai. And one of the things that they've done during the COVID crisis is build this amazing walkway. So you can actually walk around the elephant area on this walkway and see the elephants from above and really observe them. So see it in a completely different way. So that is a fantastic place to go and see if you're looking to see elephants in a different way. There's the Old Town, which I said is gastro capital by UNESCO. The Old Town is so different to anywhere. I mean, you look at the buildings in this picture and you don't think that you're in Thailand. You think you're in Portugal or Spain or somewhere very different. The food is fantastic in this area, and you really get to see a different side of Phuket. You can hire these kind of boats for a private basis. So if you've got a special occasion, then you can take a luxury cruise ship out. Or if you are looking to go to any of the islands, then obviously there's lots of different boat tours that you can choose from. We actually hired a long tail boat out to some of the small islands from Phuket and Krabi. And you can do it depending on how many people in your party. There was 3 of us. We decided to hire our own private boat because it was about £70 for the day. And rather than getting on a boat with 10 other people and waiting for them each time, we decided we would just, for £70, we'd do it ourselves. So we could decide how long we were staying in each place, when we wanted to leave, and everything was under our control. So you can really personalize the experience and also, you know, privatize it just for a little bit more money. And then there's also some fantastic snorkeling trips on the Similyan Islands. They restrict how many people go out there, but there's some fantastic fish and snorkeling that you can do in that area. The hotel choice is immense in Phuket. There are villas, there are hotels for families, for couples, honeymooners, private beaches. There is just so many things to choose from, but this just gives you an idea. The selection is so immense that I couldn't showcase them all. If you're looking for more of an island style retreat, Koh Yao Noi and Khao Lak are fantastic options. These are 2 islands located about an hour off Phuket. They have fantastic beaches. You can see out into the bay, and it is just, you see the amazing Karst Mountains. You can go to James Bond Island from there, to Monkey Island. It's almost halfway between Krabi and Phuket. So you are immersed in the middle of this beautiful island area. You get to see some of the fantastic hornbills, and you really are on secluded beaches. So if you're looking for more of an island beach style, then this is a great place to visit. There's about 10 different resorts on Koh Yao Noi, and Khao Lak has about 4 or 5. The islands are not in any way developed. I think there's 1 7-Eleven on Koh Yao Noi, whereas everywhere else in Thailand that you go, you will find a Family Mart or a 7-Eleven or a supermarket on every street corner. Here you will just see a local market town, a fishing village. So everything is very much downplayed, but there is some lovely hotels. You've got the fantastic Treehouse Villas, which is an adults only property. You've got Paradise Bay. There is lots of different places that you can choose, and it's more if you just want to chill out, relax, go kayaking out into the bay, cycling, want to hire a motorbike, yoga. There's lots of retreats, but it really is a great place for a 2 to 3 night stay if you're looking for that more island experience. Khao Lak is north of Phuket, and this is about an hour and 15 north of Phuket airport. And this is an area that unfortunately was known for the tsunami. This is one of the areas that was worst hit in Thailand because it is purely on the beachfront. There is a main town with markets and restaurant, but a lot of the hotels are located on small individual beaches. It really is somewhere if you're looking to chill out and relax, and you don't want that island lifestyle, then this is a fantastic place. It's less busy than the hustle and bustle of Phuket. It's the gateway to the Similyan Islands. So if you do go out on a boat to the Similyan's, you will start from Khao Lak. And it's also, there's an area of lots of liverboards. So if you're interested in the diving and you want to live on the boats, then this can be a great place. It is complete relaxation. On one of our trips as a family, we did Krabi and then we did Khao Lak for 3 days. And it was just very different in the fact that you didn't go out to eat as much. There is a local town. There's the monument for the tsunami and a turtle sanctuary as well. So there's lots of different things that you can do in small trips, but it's more about just chilling out and relaxation. Then you've got Khao Sok National Park, which again is completely different. This is more jungle style river. So if you're looking for somewhere tree house, you want to really get in with nature, you want to see something completely different, then Khao Sok National Park is a fantastic place. It's very well known for an area called Elephant Hills, which is a luxurious elephant interaction property where you can also do lots of other activities, but there's also lots of jungle treks, traditional cooking. I'm just going to show you a very short video. Let's hope the internet works. There we go. And this is of our jungle lodge, which is located in Khao Sok National Park.
I'm not sure if it's just mine, but we can't see the video.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it's just on the front, yeah, Khao Sok National Park still.
Oh, how weird. Let me close it then. 2 seconds. That's a bit strange. You should be able to see. Oh, I wonder. Okay.
Could see your mouse moving, but
you can see that. I mean, you can see me. Yeah. Okay, let's. Right. Okay. Well, I'll send the what I'll do is because it's worked on a lot of the others. So what I'll do is I'll send the link to Melissa afterwards, and you can all watch that at your own leisure. Basically, as I say, it's very much a jungle area. It's you can go river rafting, very similar to the river lodges that I showed you in Kanshiburi. There's an area of Khao Sok that you can stay on the river as well, or you could stay in these amazing tree houses. You can see gibbons, you can see bird life, you can go on lots of night safaris. So there's lots of different things that you can do in Khao Sok as well. So it really is a great thing, but I'll send the link afterwards so that you can all watch that. Sorry about that. One of the other beach areas is Krabi. Now that's a 3-hour drive from Phuket Airport, or you can sometimes fly into Krabi Airport depending on the airline schedules. It is the gateway to some of the islands such as PP Island, James Bond Island, and also Maya Bay, which many of you may have heard from. It is a little bit different from Phuket in that it is a smaller destination and a smaller beach resort. Many people will stay in Ao Nang or some of the beach areas in that area. You can walk from one end of Ao Nang to the other in about 20 minutes to half an hour. So it shows the kind of size. There is also some fantastic secluded beach resorts that you can stay in Krabi. This is where you can take long tail boats out to some of the small islands such as Podder Island, Chicken Island. As I say, you can go on a day trip to PP Island and Maya Bay, or you can stay in PP. Now, the majority of people will do day trips. It is about 90 minutes from Krabi or Koh Lanta and about 2 hours from Phuket in the speedboat or on the ferry. PP is gets very crowded during the day because hundreds of tourists come each day in, and it can get super crowded. It's a very popular day trip, as I say. Maya Bay is the beach that was featured in the film The Beach. It has been closed now for about 2.5 to 3 years. The Thai government are looking actually to extend that for around 6 years now, purely because of the amazing regeneration that closing it has caused. They've had manatees, they've had fish that they've not seen for years. Closing it from the tourists has just done such amazing work in terms of the coral and bringing the wildlife back, that they really feel that they want to invest further and keep it closed, and to restrict the amount of people that go in. You'll also quite often go to places such as Monkey Beach, which is, as it sounds, a beach full of monkeys. And you've got the fantastic James Bond Island, which was in one of the famous James Bond films, but I can't remember which one now. Koh Samui is the area on the southeast of Thailand, and so you would travel here during our summer months generally. Again, very similar to some of the areas on the southwest. It's more of a smaller resort. The actual island itself, you can travel around in around an hour. So Koh Samui is more of a relaxation kind of destination. There's lots of little beach resorts as you go around the island. So where you want to stay will depend on the type of accommodation that you're looking for, or how much activity you want and hustle and bustle around. It's quite a romantic getaway. There's some fantastic night markets. There's the National Marine Park, which you can go to on day trips and do lots of scuba diving, snorkeling, lots of spa relaxation. Koh Samui is a lovely little place. You can only fly there from Bangkok. So you do have to get an internal flight over to Koh Samui, and you go on one of the small little propeller planes. I traveled there about 10 years ago, and it was fantastic, because when you arrive, it's one of these small little cabins, and the little man comes off, and your luggage comes off in a little kind of tractor, and you just take your bag. A couple of the islands that are off Koh Samui are Koh Tao, which is 3 hours from Koh Samui. It has a lovely quiet beaches, amazing scenery and sunsets, and some excellent food. Obviously it's great for snorkeling. It is an island again, so you're looking at people who are looking at more an island relaxation. I would say when you're staying on islands, you need to enjoy sand, because it's everywhere and it's going to get everywhere, but it can be a fantastic place to escape to. And then you've got the famous Koh Phangan, which is 20 to 60 minutes, depending on the type of transportation and boat that you take from Koh Samui. There is so much more to Koh Phangan than just full moon parties. There is some amazing kayaking, boat trips, cooking classes that you can do. And then obviously the notorious full moon party that happens every full moon. So it is somewhere that you can go if you're not into raving and dancing the night away as well. So that leads me to the end of my presentation and allows me to say Kopan Ka, and thank you, and we hope to see you soon in Thailand. Apologies for the technical error.
That was great, Kay, thank you. And yeah, I did wonder if it was just mine. I thought that maybe it was my internet that was playing up, so thanks, Sandra, for letting me know that it was everyone. But yeah, I will send that out anyway to everyone. And yeah, I wonder if anyone has a question, if you either want to type it in the chat, or if you just want to unmute yourself and ask away, then that would be great. I have had a couple through by text actually, which is quite good, because it means that I don't have to keep moving my screen to look at the chat. So I just wondered, actually, I had one about the trains quite early on, and then you answered that about the overnight train, so that was great, and that you'd more recommend going north to Chiang Mai, so that was good. Are there any water sports particularly associated with Thailand, would you say?
Mainly the snorkeling and the scuba diving. You can do jet skiing and jet boating off some of the areas of Phuket, but it's more that you would hire them locally than organised kind of trips for that. but yeah, you can hire. I've never seen a windsurfer or anything like that, I have to be honest, but I have seen a lot of jet skis. So, yeah.
Fair enough, that's good. And there was one actually, I just wondered, when you mentioned originally earlier on, sorry, about the food and the variety that you have there, and I was just wondering about like dietary requirements, and if you can tell me, say, for example, if you're celiac, what are the options for in hotels there? Is it something that's been heard of? Familiar?
Celiac, it's funny enough, I had this question the other day for Vietnam, and we had a bit of a long discussion with me and the team. Celiacs are more difficult in Thailand, I'll be honest, if you're eating Thai food, because they tend to cook with the fish sauce which has gluten in it, whereas in Vietnam they cook with a different fish sauce which doesn't have gluten in it. So being a celiac is quite easy in Vietnam, apparently. So Thailand, it's a little bit more of a struggle, but there is options. As I say, there's a lot of more Western style food, so it is possible. What the teams do and make sure, and this is one of the benefits, I suppose, of having local people on spot, is they would make sure that you have a card that is written in Thai, so that you could present it at the restaurant, so that they fully understand what the concern is, and so that they can cook accordingly and manipulate it. But it is more of a challenge in Thailand, definitely, than some of the other Far Eastern countries, just purely because of what they cook
unfamiliar
with.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I wondered if maybe it would be, if they'd be more familiar with it in certain chains or brands of hotels.
The bigger hotels would have no problem, because they're probably very used to it all day, you know, like your Anantaras, those kind of chains of properties, you know. It's so you would look at the kind of hotels that you choose, but also, you know, just because you've got celiac disease doesn't mean you don't want to go out and eat real Thai food. Not saying that the hotels aren't real, but I always think that, you know, you want to get out and about and try the food on the street and the local restaurants and those kind of things, and that's where you're going to get more value for your money as well. So.
Yeah, great. And then one more was just, if you wanted to hire or have a driver just for, you know, a day to go out, and not necessarily guided, but to, you know, to arrange it, that's something that we can arrange with you.
Absolutely. If you just want a driver, you don't want a guide, you can do that. If you just want a guide for a day, then you can have a guide as much or as little as you want, really. There's some of these destinations you don't need a guide all the time. I mean, Phuket, for instance, most people won't have a guide, they'll have a transfer. But the great thing we do is that when you book through Melissa, when you get on spot, our operative in Bangkok will call you, so you will have her number throughout. So if you want to book something whilst you're there, she can just book it for you. She will be in constant chat with Melissa, but she's also there on WhatsApp if there's any problems, any concerns, or you just want to say, how do I do this? What do I do? What's the best place to go to eat? Kind of thing. She really is an expert, so she can recommend everything for you.
Perfect. And that's, yeah, the extension, the extra personal touches and things like that. It's just really handy to know that you literally have someone in the same time zone and on the ground with you for anything that you need as well. So that's great. Well, that was all the questions that I have been asked. So if anyone else has any others, or if you have any that you think of later on, then just feel free to let me know. And once again, if you have any feedback at all for me on this evening, or you want to tell me that Thailand is now firmly on your list for future travel, then that would be great to hear as well. It is on my ever-growing list. So that's, yeah, it's quite a fun list.
Just to give you a COVID update as well, the exciting news is that Thailand is hoping to open in July. They are, as I mentioned, Phuket is highly reactive to tourism and really needs the tourists to come back. So the government have agreed to vaccinate 70% of the Thai population in Phuket by July, hopefully, and then they will allow tourists back in with some kind of COVID passport, And if you have had the vaccination, you will just need to have had a COVID test prior to arrival, and then you don't have to quarantine at any point in time. And then in October, that will be enhanced further to 6 other areas across Thailand, in the hope that by January 2022, the whole of the country will be reopened fully. But they're going to do it in baby steps. They're just going to open bits at a time, just to make sure that everybody's safe, because obviously Thailand doesn't have the amazing health system that we have over here.
Yeah, that's still quite an incredible feat, though, really, to be aiming for July. Certainly aiming for July. Let's see, but yeah, hopefully that would be very promising. So great. I think that's probably all that I have at the moment. Yeah, so thank you very much, Kay, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. I certainly thought that it was fascinating, and yeah, loved elephants galore, brilliant. All the beaches and the activities, the food, just the colours, the feel and the vibe for it. So yeah, it's fantastic. So thanks everyone for joining. And so yeah, I really hope that you can also join next week. I know that it's Easter and you're probably all very busy eating all of your Easter eggs, but you know, you can also sit back and enjoy having a little look at incredible Iceland next week. So I'm really excited about that as well. And once again, if there's anywhere that you want to have a look at, you want me to try and speak to my partner companies as well, and for presenting to you, then just let me know and I will do my best for that. But yeah, but thank you very much, and thanks Kay once again, and I will look forward to seeing you all again soon. Thank you. Bye.